Out of the blocks with track and field here on the SportsMax zone. As fans of track and field, as so many are in the Caribbean and across the world, we have been treated to mesmerizing performances over the years from many historically great athletes. But history is there to be rewritten, and it has been from time to time, especially over the past decade in the track. Now, numerous world, meet, and era records are routinely shattered at venues across the globe, but when you delve deeper into where those outstanding times were produced at venues such as Rome, Monaco, Zurich, Lausanne, and a common denominator is discovered. All these tracks have been manufactured by CONICA, a company based in Switzerland, who have been combining the use of Swiss and German engineering to optimize these services for great speeds. And it's a pleasure that we welcome today Lara Guillot, the Chief Commercial Officer of CONICA, and Jose Perez, Regional Manager of CONICA. They join us on set. Good evening and welcome to Jamaica.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, other than the fact that we are one of the best track and field countries in the world, why are you here?
Like having said, of course, it's an honor to be here. On the one hand side, of course, like we're in Switzerland, we're producing the track, but in the end, for us, it's even more important to have like the global footprint. I mean, we're already exporting to 90 countries, but the Caribbean and Jamaica is really like a spot where we want to be more present, because in the end, it's the heart of athletic tracks. So for us, it's like a key. It's crucial to be present here and provide the best flooring to the athletes. They also deserve it, I would say.
Okay, so Jose, tell me, are there plans to probably get some business here in Jamaica? We have a track in Montego that desperately needs to be resurfaced.
Well, I've been looking forward after this track. Already this is the second time I've been visiting Jamaica in the last 2 years. The main difference right now is that we have a strong local partner, which is Professional Sports Surfaces company based here in Kingston. And our partner is Stefan Wilson, which has been really desperate as well, trying to install this track with a CONICA track. I think it has been issued, but I'm really positive this track is going to be renewed in the maximum in 2 years, I guess.
Okay, hopefully before that, because that track has been in need of repair for a long time. Yeah. I want to talk a little bit about the track, because I'm looking at some statistics here about the times that have been produced on CONICA tracks. CONICA tracks. I mean, of the 20 fastest times all time in Diamond League, 12 of those times in the 200 meters have been produced on those tracks. Noah Lyles 1946, Usain Bolt's 1958, Justin Gatlin's 1968. What is it that's so special about these tracks, other than the German and the Swiss technology? Yeah.
I mean, like starting from the point, like it's really the whole creation of a track. It is not only lying there and then it is. It really starts from finding out what is the best for the athletes and then developing. So therefore, for example, we now have a close cooperation with a laboratory, a university in Germany, where we really like, with new technology, we look like how the athletes' force or go into the flooring and develop then together with them like what is best so that they have the highest performance. So it's not only about the track, the polyurethane is really understanding what a athlete need for the whole over the lifetime performance. But on the other hand side, also using the technology which we have now today to find like new measurements, to find like, okay, we have to adopt our track so that in the end the athlete can have the best performance.
Yeah, because I understand a little bit about the science of it, that the force that you produce is literally given back to you as you propel forward. So here's a question. Over the years, we've seen tracks getting faster and faster. Is there a limit to how fast you can actually make these tracks?
Well, there is a combination about tracks and other tools that athletes have been using. In the last years, you have seen probably really strong performance improvement due to the spikes to the normal shoes. And there is a limit set as well, because there were some marks that haven't been recognized because of the high difference between some producers of these shoes. On the track, on the other side, we are really right now developing best solutions based normally on in situ technology, pure in situ. And the main difference, we were speaking about the differences between some tracks based in situ. This is the core, this is the heart of a surface, which is normally in contact with the base layer Yeah, the base layer used to be the ground layer and asphalt, and we have a base layer made of different products. This one is full pure, which is specially designed for high-speed tracks, like the one in Monaco, like the one in Zurich at the Letzigrund Stadium, and Stockholm. It was also recently refurbished with our big VMAX track. And this is really the point where we want to give the athletes back as much energy as possible, because one thing is shock absorption. This is way better than having a hard surface because of the joints, because of the different muscles. But if you have a high shock absorption, normally your energy return is quite fewer. So you have to combine both factors. And this is really the best option for giving the athletes back as much energy we can.
Yeah, and of course, there's also the athlete's health to be considered as well, because the surface is too hard. Then there's potential damage to knees, ankles, and stuff like that. So that goes into the consideration. You spent a lot of time, and it's back to your passion to come up with these new ideas for technology, how you use the technology. Give us an idea of what factors go into that kind of thinking.
It really goes down that we are open to new technologies. So like the network in the end of the sports, it is the key. Like also talk to people, like doing the shoes, talk to athletes, talk to new technologies, biomechanicals, universities. So there is, I think, the open-mindedness. And that's also the reason, like since 40 years, over 40 years, we're the thought leading in this industry. Like we always come up with new ideas. So you said, are there limitations? I'm 100% sure we think about there are limitations, but there are always like new ideas, new technologies in the track, or just used to make the track better. So I think there it's like what also makes us as a Swiss company, like we're known that we're open-minded in high quality, looking for the niche and focus to what we want to achieve. So there I think the key is really be open-minded, go to the athletes, and then like find the ways how we can improve their performance.
So there's also collaboration with the athletes as well.
Yes, there are. Yeah, in the past, like we focus especially on young athletes, also in terms of providing them the best developments. In the end, of course, everybody talks about personal best at the peak, but I think it's as crucial to provide the infrastructure on the one hand side, and this is like what we're doing, like providing the best training scenario, but really have the environment to provide them on a development to then in the end be on the peak of their performance. So we're having a close cooperation more with the younger athletes, so that we can provide already at the youth the best track, so that they can have like the highest performance. And what you also have said, safety is one then the key, because I mean when you're injured, it can be the end of a career.
Absolutely,
so
yeah.
This is like a key element for us to have the safety there. Independently, if it's raining, if it's hot or whatever, our track needs to be like suitable for every scenery. So this is like what our goal is. Like your job, the athlete job, is to perform. Our job is really providing the best solution so they'd have like a sustainable career in the whole
There's a
time.
theory that damp tracks or damp floorings make the track faster. Is there any truth to that?
Well, there's a kind of truth of that, but you have to find a balance as well on the track performance above 2, 3, 4, 5 years. There are tracks on the market. They are really fast. After 6, 8 months, they start getting that hard that the performance is not great. And also, if you have a look on the different tracks we have installed on the world, our main goal is to make profitable investments. So we have on one way nice speed, on the other way we have rentability. If you have a look on the tracks you have listed, and you have a look on the PBs, for example, Chilean has her PB on a CONICA track.
Yep, 1060.
Yeah, correct. By the time Chilean has set this PB, the track was already 16 years old.
Wow.
Okay, so this gives you an idea about the performance of our tracks over a longer period. And this is, I think, definitely something that people have to take into consideration when making such an investment.
Absolutely. Talk to me. You said you're going to be touring across the island. What are things that you've been looking at specifically? as you move across the country?
Yeah, we have visited some projects. About some of them I'm not allowed to talk. But basically, we're looking forward providing here for the next years the best possible solutions. And it's not going to be always such a track, because we have to consider this is a high-speed track. This is designed, for example, for the future national stadium, where you have to set really a nice track for having the best games you can have. But you have to think also about the children, about the young people that need a track facility that on one hand is really available, payable, on the other hand, on a long-term basis offers the best performance, but also having into consideration that a very hard surface for training purposes is not always the best surface you may have. If you have a competition, it's okay, they're used to, but considering also the professional athletes, they normally performance on a harder surface, but they do train on a softer surface. So we have both of them.
Let me ask you this. I read something today that says that the World Athletics, the certification that is currently standing, are going to expire December 2023, which is the end of this year, which probably means that some of the surfaces that are already certified might have to be changed. Is that an opportunity for CONICA to step in and maybe make themselves available in terms of costing? I don't know where your costs lie in terms of your price points as it relates to Regupol or Mondo. But is that something that CONICA considers in terms of your price points to make yourselves more valuable to or more visible to people considering putting in new tracks? Yeah,
sure. This is an opportunity, not just for us as producers. What World Athletics, the former IAAF, is really taking into consideration is that there exists a huge amount of tracks still on the certified tracks on the list that are not being useful any longer. So they introduced a new certification system procedure. And these procedures, they were already announced back in 2019. And now the specific regulation who's going to take place by beginning of January 2024. This says that all tracks older than 5 years are going to be either recertified or resurfaced, with an exception. All tracks older than 12 years are not going to be extendable anymore, the certification. They must at least make a renewal, a resurfacing, which is, by the way, with prefab tracks normally not possible. You have to replace them. With in situ tracks, you are capable of making a new layer on top of this. By the way, we are also capable of making resurfacing on prefab tracks as long as the base is in a good shape. This gives you opportunity for us, also for World Athletics, having a wider control over the tracks, and also for the athletes, because the better the certification procedures are, the safer the activity for them.
Okay, so that's pretty interesting, because then the rub is, can countries then, those smaller countries, can they afford to do the resurfacing as required by World Athletics at the risk of not being recertified?
Yeah, this risk does exist. There is, however, by World Athletics always an exception. This exception must be approved in any single case by World Athletics, but in a general case, if we speak about what's going to be expected, you have to expect that all the tracks older than 12 years are going to be out of the certified list by World Athletics. This means you can make competition, but international competition, and especially the marks you are going to do, they are not going to be recognized any longer.
Okay. I wanted to ask, you're going to say something?
I just want to say I know how to reduce the risk, like having a CONICA track, because it's like we're known to have like the long-lasting track, and then like the probability will always increase so that you can recertify and then have a retopping. So this is like what our key is like has a sustainable track for over more year, especially for countries which cannot afford having after 5 years already a new track. So I see it also that like when you're asking for added value for CONICA right now, for us it's really a good opportunity because it's our philosophy that we like lay a track which is lasting long. So I would say like having a track of us, it will reduce the risk to have no longer the certification.
Okay.
So yeah.
That's our master's degree in economics talking here.
You see.
I just like was learning for this moment.
So, which brings me to this. I mean, you studied business and, of course, economics. How did you get into the science of flooring?
I'm not allowed to say this. Nothing to do with anything. Having said, of course, that the study was good. It is more in an economical way, but the sports was what brought me to CONICA. Actually, I started as a trainee like 7 years ago, and now I am in a position of managing director. So I think it's also showing a bit like the philosophy of CONICA. Like if you're open-minded, if you go forward, if you want to go the extra mile, if you're passionate, I think this is the most important thing, then you get there. But having said, on a chemical point of view, it is new land for me, but it's a fascinating world. So I'm love to be in this position.
She soaks this thing up, doesn't she? She's like, okay, so we've mastered the business and economic side of things. Let's get into the science of it.
Yeah.
Were you ever an athlete? Either of you?
No. Like for me, an indoor athlete, but not a track athlete. I'm more in the indoor sports.
Like what?
I don't know if you know it. It's like floorball.
Yeah.
You know,
it's kind of like
it was
hockey.
Invented by Switzerland, by the way.
I've never been to Switzerland. My son wants to go there. I'd love to go there one day. Yeah.
He is welcome in Switzerland. We will provide him everything, like full show, etc. It's a lot to see, so he needs to be there at least a year.
He's watching his videos on YouTube, and he loves the scenery and the countryside and everything.
Yeah.
Jose, you've been doing this thing for 18 years, more than 18 years, and you ran businesses in Brazil similar to this.
Yeah.
Talk to me a bit about how you entered into this whole business of flooring and getting tracks fast.
Everything began well. I was delivering the machinery for installing the artificial tracks. The artificial grass and tracks with also in situ base layer. I get to know a lot of the installers, especially in Latin America and the Caribbean. So probably I think I know around 60 to 70 companies active in Latin America, and it ended up that I said, why I'm selling the machinery if I can also cooperate with the flooring production products, I mean systems. And I began in the company in CONICA 3 years ago. It was previous in another company, and get to know a lot of companies around the world. Especially in Latin America, as mentioned. And this way I came up, I've seen probably in the last 10 years, something like around 500, 600 trucks in America. And I'm from the very normal single truck in school to the high-end truck. And I'm really passionate about it because CONICA gives us an environment where we can develop our activities for any kind of customer, from the schools to the top performance. And this way, also for me, it's very fascinating to come to countries like Jamaica, where we are going to insist as long we need to install our first CONICA truck here, because as Lara mentioned, you are the heart of the athletic sports, and we're going to be beating as one with you.
Okay, quick question, because we're getting the signal to wrap up here. Have you ever been, this is your first trip to Jamaica?
Yes.
Is yours?
Yeah.
No, not for me.
I got the sense that you've been here before.
No.
I'm too high, so it must be the first time. You need a bit of time.
You should spend some time and get some color in you.
I know.
She still has to know some of your local specialty. I got her introduced to chicken jerk, but patties and so on. She doesn't know but we will make the best of it to install
You don't
a
want her
track.
putting on too much weight before she goes back home.
Yeah, correct.
I need to run.
All right. Thank you, Lara and Jose. It was a pleasure having you guys here.
Thanks.
We're going to take a break now, but coming up next, we have Akira Nugent, the NCAA champion, 100-meter hurdles. She could use a regular CONICA track, and of course, she's the national representative now, going to Budapest next month after finishing second at the national championships on the weekend. Akira Nugent joins us after the break.